Hey, everybody, you are watching and listening to the We Are Rising podcast. This is your host, Andrew Bedrin. I got me a new guest. So excited to have him on because we've been talking, trying to get him on for some time to finally get to talk Ryzen and Korea. And yeah, we got Knox with us. Knox, how you doing, sir?
How's it going? I'm doing well. Appreciate you having me on. It's an honor and a pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so just tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, whatever you want to tell us about yourself, and how you got into Japanese MMA and Ryzen.
Will do. Yeah, I'm just a regular bloke, brother. Roaming the earth realm just like anybody else. Uh, to be honest, man, I got introduced when I was a very a young guy, a little young guy, watching Pride. I first seen like the first like original UFCs when I was very young at like my uncle's house. I don't know if he did. He stole a pay per view or something back in the day. You know what I mean? And I saw the first like one of the very first UFCs back in the day. But what really kicked it off for me is watching all the old school Pride, and then ever since then, yeah, I just been all about Japanese MMA. It really broke my heart when Pride went away for a little bit. I had to take a little break from MMA, but I'm so glad Ryzen's here for us.
So yeah, when you heard that Ryzen was their 10th anniversary when they were announced, how did you feel when that became news that you were gonna have our show on New Year's Eve? We're coming back.
Oh, dude, I was pumped. Just any time to talk to somebody on the same MMA IQ and that's just into Japanese MMA instead of just talking to a bunch of casuals watching UFC and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I love it, brother.
Yes. So I'm curious to know 10 years of Ryzen. I want to know just quickly any particular favorite moment of Ryzen that you can recall.
Probably the big upset, one that stands out to me a lot is just Kai when he took out Horiguchi. That was just that was a big upset, and just I don't know, it was just it was crazy. You know what I mean? And those Asakura brothers, I really like what they've done for the sport. You know what I mean? For Japanese MMA, love them or hate them. You know what I mean? They are definitely electricity, brother. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was a big moment for me for sure.
I definitely one of the things I still ponder is like if the pandemic happened, that kind of like put a stop on Ryzen, and then that's when Breaking Down came along, and I wonder what happens if there's no Breaking Down. I wonder if there's any positive or negative effect when it comes to Japanese MMA. I don't know if you want to. Do you have any thoughts on that? Anything you want to? How do you think it happens? If there's no Breaking Down by Mikuru and Kai.
I don't know, man. I feel like that they are a huge deal. They're a big thing in the culture out there. You know what I mean? Look at anytime that like for Mikuru, anytime he's in an event, just look at the amount of fans that he could draw, man. It's crazy. Every time it blows my mind when I go to YouTube and I see that like you look at his interviews compared to anybody else's. Look at the numbers he has on like his pre-fight interviews, his post-fight interviews. Anytime he's in a press conference, and then as soon as he uploads like right to his own YouTube channel afterwards, crazy views, man. It's crazy. I really like what he's done for the sport for sure.
So I'll just some context. So Mikuru's fight with Chief Hero from the Otoko Matsuri show currently is at 2.5 million views, and that's only after 3 weeks. That's more than some of those like UFC unfiltered type things that they do,
Sure.
which I still don't. I'd never watched those, but I
Yeah, me
guess
either.
there's some sickos out there. But yeah, that's 2.5 million views for a fight that already happened and people are still watching it. So take that. Think about
Sure.
that. Think about that. We got already Falling Star always coming in with the great questions. I really appreciate you, Falling Star. And he says Ryzen has been flexing lately with their press conference locations lately. That's true. They did it at the Temple this past week to announce for their Super Ryzen show. Very happy with the year-on-year growth of this promotion. He also says Rizin and Mikuru are taking the risk to build the rematch even greater hype and excitement is cool. Probably the only way for the rematch in heaven to reach that 1 million pay-per-view buys. I'm assuming you mean the rematch of Red and Mikuru, not the rematch of Kleber versus Mikuru, which that can still be a million buys, but I feel less likely than Ren versus Mikuru.
Yep.
Before we get into World Series, you can just watch. You can catch the replay. I believe it's still available. I don't think the time has passed. Ryzen.tv. to see Rizin World Series of Korea, and I think they've uploaded 3 fights so far. It's the main event, co-main, and I believe Kate Lotus versus Yuri Shim on their YouTube channel. So check those out. But yes, actually, quickly before we go in, gotta give a shout out to my sponsor, Shroom Bars, eatshroombar.com. Use code WAR at checkout for 25% off your first order. The protein bars are made with cordyceps, lion's mane, turkey tail, all good stuff. No bad crap in there, and they're good. And I always have them for my jiu-jitsu classes and sometimes after. They're great. Remember, use the code WAR at eatshroombar.com, 25% off your first order. Now, Knox, before we get into the meat of the card, we always talk about the prelims because prelims are prelims. If you even remember anything that happened, say anyway beat Bum Jun Jun Khan in kickboxing. Any thoughts? If you can remember this fight?
Yeah. That one is they both went to decision, right? Both of the prelim ones, from what I remember, right?
Yeah.
They were the kickboxing wars. I watched them all, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really know if I have anything much to say beyond that.
That's
the one that I was.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I like the Usami one though. The one right after that though.
Oh yeah, but I think that was promoted. I think that was promoted as actually on the main card. I think this one was they put it classified. They put OP, which means prelim, or like I think that's what they did. The Mason one was like that was like on a different level. That we're gonna give that's gonna get actual talk. But first one OP,
no one cares.
No, because here's the thing. I have yet to find someone who's been on the opening portion, the prelim portion, who gets to go on the main card after or like at a future show. It has not happened to my recollection, and I'm still waiting. These guys this fight existed on a different plane, and it happened. Anyway, we're gonna actually talk about some good stuff now. We're gonna talk about the main event, and man, Souza this guy is it fair to say that would you second best lightweight in the world possibly at this point, or top 5?
Oh, dude, 100%. Him on a full, like, what really upset me when he fought Patricky on that short notice. You know what I mean? I feel like he didn't get a really show how good he really is. Because remember when he took that fight in Bellator?
Yes.
Just on short notice of that tournament. Oh man, I feel like if he had a full training camp, oh brother, this guy is just getting better with age too. I feel like, he's just insane to watch. His grappling skills are incredible. His striking though, like his striking has been leveling up fight by fight. Look what he did to Gustavo. This last fight too, he didn't even have to shoot. He dropped Key, and then he pounced on him. He's just looking so good, man.
I think you said something interesting. Damian Brown also pointed out that this guy's just getting better of age, and usually at this point, you kind of just stagnate. You kind of just do what you do as MMA. You don't really develop because, listen, he's been doing jiu-jitsu since he was a child, and like that's just his brain, how it's working. Yet
second nature.
And so, this guy and Damian Brown said it best as well. This guy, he can strike from the back foot. He can back up if he wants to, which is usually not good, especially in cage MMA. He can grapple you. He can pull you into the guard. This guy, the holes in his game are becoming so much less and less at this point. I'm starting. Yeah, this guy is definitely top 5 lightweights.
For sure
in the world.
I think he'd be a problem for sure.
I'm disappointed though that we're getting Patricky Pitbull versus Shunta Nomura. Unfortunately, was it Nomura? No, sorry.
It is.
Yeah,
I think
Nomura.
it is.
Yeah. When I think I would have liked to have seen a rematch between those two. I don't know why they didn't go with that.
Patricky versus Souza.
Yeah, because you have the thing with the Bellator thing, like you said, short notice fight as well. Souza also broke his hand in that fight as well, so he was debilitated in some way. But you still, I think the match between those two would have been a much better match to do. At Super Rising 4. I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
I would like to have seen it too. Nomura, though, he did look pretty good against Gustavo early. It looked as though Gustavo was starting to do a little bit of a comeback on him, though. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But it stopped via the cut. But I get it. I see what they're trying to do here.
Now maybe they're going to
do.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say maybe they're going to do like whoever wins between Nomura and Patricky. Then they do whoever wins that. But I think that's kind of unfair because Patricky's kind of, I would say, probably on the downswing of his career.
Right. Exactly.
I would rather kind of like, I'm pretty sure also Souza would like to do that rematch as well, especially because it's only his one of 2 losses. Souza also said something as well that was interesting. He did an interview with MMA Fighting, and he said that he wishes this fight was for a title, and he doesn't understand why why Rizin does non-title fights. Do you have any thoughts on non-title fights for champions?
Yeah, I mean,
sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess I don't know, man. I don't really know what to think about that. I guess it's just the fact that this guy is not in the quote unquote rankings. You know what I mean for Rizin. So I guess they don't want to mess up something in case something catastrophic could happen. I mean, they're small gloves. You know what I mean? Anything could happen. Yeah. I didn't really see it going any other way than it did, honestly. Yeah. I know that guy is he's a very big puncher, but like we were just talking about, I feel like Souza could really even step into the UFC and cause some damage. You know what I mean? He's at that level right now, but in his, whether it was for a title or not, at least like in his mind, you know what I mean? He can go in there with, I defended the belt. You know what I mean?
It is because I think Rizin has certain. Well, I mean, with the Super Rizin show coming up, they've already kind of set the precedent that even if you're non-contention, like we got the Izawa facing the girl who's only 3-0, who hasn't, I don't think, ever fought outside whatever promotion she's actually fought. I think Road SC, I think it was.
Road, right?
And so, I mean, it's kind of like I'm not so sure how it's dictated that that's a title. That's worthy of a title thing, and then somehow Juan being key is not. I'm just that's why it confuses me. That's the one thing I don't like about Rizin is the non-top fights because also it puts your champions at risk. Like I go like the Kyoji Kai. Remember when you brought up? We talked off air about Kai being Kyoji, and Kyoji went into that fight with I think it was a knee injury, and then obviously he got knocked out. And then they couldn't do the rematch and then he had to vacate and it became a whole thing. Luckily, it worked out. So, for that reason why I'm not also a fan of non-title fights because, if you're going to put your champion at that risk, might as well just, at least have
raises the stakes for sure. Yeah. Raises the stakes. Another thing too, though, with them with Souza not actually fighting Patricky, I could see them using Patricky's name for Nomura. You know what I mean? Get maybe they, like you said earlier, he could be on the downswing, get Nomura that dub, where it puts his name even higher. You know what I mean? He beat an international fighter. Nomura looks good, man. Like we were saying, he just it'll be interesting.
I think he looked okay against Gustavo, though. I don't think he like you said, Gustavo was making that comeback, and then they ended on the accidental headbutt cuts. I mean, it's very unusual because Gustavo's not really like he's not a sole starter, but that one he was a sole starter for whatever reason. Maybe because he was tentative because of the way he lost in the last fight. Maybe that's the only thing I could come up with.
The one thing I did want to bring up though for sure is I was hoping that like with Super Rizin 4 coming up, since Satoshi just dismantled right away, didn't really take any damage. I was hoping that maybe Nobuyuki does something crazy and does like Raj Bahali super fight with Souza or something. How crazy would that be? I think that would be crazy.
Yeah. I mean, you had the thing with that he already beat Kleber, who's also at Bonsai. I feel like, though, they would have announced it already. If that fight. So I think they're still going to do Vugar versus Kimura. That's the one that they're waiting to announce. I think. That's at least the impression I got. But listen, if he did that, listen, I would love for Souza versus Shaduliev.
Oh yeah, 100%. And then just one other thing too is just look at how good Satoshi's doing just staying in Bonsai. You know what I mean? He's not I don't see him going to American Top Team. You know what I mean?
Oh,
He's staying at home with
yeah,
his family and all that. And look at the way he's evolving. You know what I mean?
yeah. I'll say though this, we joke in the Rise and FF Discord a lot about how Seika always cries after her fights. I'm sorry, she's been doing it less, and I feel like Satoshi has taken the mantle of the always will cry after wins because he did that again for this fight, and he's done it for
For sure.
all of his wins. So we might have to start ragging on him for crying after every fight, just like we used to do Seika.
For sure. It's an emotional thing, man. I could imagine,
Oh
going in
yeah.
there and putting it out there like that for sure, bro.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm on the backlog of the chat, so I'll get to everybody. Falling Star, should Rizin target the Chinese market next or build the Korean market first in their next Asian expansion strategy? I don't listen. Chinese MMA is something. It's like, listen, you have WLF, I think it is, and you have some other promotions. Listen, I want to tell you this. There's a lot of shady shit that goes on. Okay, so I have a friend, a Japanese friend who's fought in Deep, who's going to be fighting in I think it's WLF, yeah. And I told him, listen, the only way you're gonna win is if you finish your opponent. If you do not finish your opponent or beat the living hell out of him that he can't like literally do anything, you will lose a fight. So yeah, there's no, the whole there was that whole thing where like 10 years ago, where like foreign like America Hollywood movies were like, oh, we have to get to the Chinese market because they have 300 billion people, and that means more money for us. And that turned out to be like, oh, well, no, they don't really like anything outside their bubble. So
Yeah.
it's yeah. So no, Chinese market, Korean market, I think is fine to start with. I don't know. What do you think about that, Knox? You think they just stick
Oh,
with
for
the
sure.
whole? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, obviously we're going to be talking about it a little bit more too, but the Koreans had a big outing. You know what I mean? They had a
oh
big
yeah.
night. So for sure. I mean, I think Nobuyuki is onto something with that. And you know what I mean? I think
Hmm.
yeah, for sure he's onto something.
Well, I saw also asked, do you think Izawa facing the Korean fighter is a overall good thing for her to raise her star power, make her and Reina fight to potentially headline another Super Rising or New Year's Eve? Well, because we were talking about this offline, Knox and I, and we are like, she should be fighting this Korean person. Reina is not injured. Reina is healthy, but Izawa is clearly not wanting to fight Reina for whatever reason. So, yeah, we shouldn't be saying, oh, after this fight, then she should fight Reina. We should be saying she should be fighting Reina now. I mean, don't you agree, Knox? This shouldn't be.
I would love
This,
to see it
yeah,
for sure. I would
you
love
could
to
do the
see
winner.
it.
You could do the. You can do the fight after between the Korean fighter and her. The Super Rising is super for a reason
Yes,
because yeah,
yes, I would have loved to have seen that. Especially, like we were talking about, Mikuru's on the card. It's going to draw numbers.
yeah.
So there would have been a super fight right there.
JBF, our good friend JBF, very impressive by Souza yet again. WMAC now fighting 3-0 when you're 15-0 is never a good look. 100%, man. I am all. I'm on the anti Izawa train at this point. Hamza, thank you for joining us, Hamza. It's better to target the Central Asian market, even try South Asia, because they cover 8% of the population. They are more open to Chinese. That's very true. I mean, with Shaduyev, as long as he doesn't, go off to UFC like soon or shortly, I can that his read. I forget. Oh my god, which country is he from again? My brain is
Kyrgyzstan, right?
yes, Kyrgyzstan. I think Kyrgyzstan actually has a pretty good MMA scene. They had the other guy who was going to fight in the heavyweight tournament, but he got injured. So there could be something with Kyrgyzstan as well. So I think that area, maybe Kazakhstan as well, depending on what Doubtbeck is doing as well. Yeah, but yeah, Chinese markets, ignore that. Ryzen will die. One of my favorites. How you doing? When will Ryzen work with Korean Zombie? They worked with AFC, Black Combat, and Road, but not him. Or does Korean Zombie only view his promotion as UFC exclusive feeder league? Well, I mean, for this promotion, for this show, they did have, I think, 2 or 3 fighters from but one big keys from Korean Zombies team. I know he has his own. I think he has his own team as well, but um, I know that was that guy. They have Zombie Junior who just fought in UFC. I think it was yesterday, right? I forgot his name, but he's in UFC. Um, yeah, I mean, it's if he wants his guys to go to UFC, I mean that's on him. But I didn't even know that he had his own promotion. Did you know that, Knox?
I thought I heard something about it, but it wouldn't surprise me if he's not working with Rizin. Uncle Dana
Yeah.
might be having to play his hand in there.
I'll,
You know what
I'll
I
tell you
mean?
this right now, though. Black Combat is the best promotion in Korea right now, and I would rather I would take Black Combat 100 days, 365 days of the year to work with than Korean Zombies promotion. WMA scene, I was thinking maybe they find a random unknown Brazilian opponent for Izawa's international opponent. They didn't even try. Well, at least she's undefeated, so there's that.
But,
Kobe,
I don't know. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, after you.
I was gonna say about Izawa. I don't know because I watched the press conference and it wasn't like officially dubbed via YouTube, so I had to use like the auto translate.
Yeah.
And it said something that gal that she's fighting is like 50-0 considering her like boxing matches or something.
Oh, they're doing that shit. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay. I trolled her Instagram a little bit. She doesn't really post a lot, so I was just trying to see who she's training with, stuff like that. You know what I mean? I like trolling, you know what I mean? See what's going on. But yeah, there wasn't too much information on her.
And Komei says Hamazaki was 23-3 when she fought a 4-0 fighter. Was this in Rizin? Was this what?
It was in Deep, right?
Was that in Deep? Well, if that's Deep, that's Deep. Deep is regional, but like, was this when these? Are you talking about the Izawa non-title fight for their first fight?
I think he's talking about. Yeah, you're probably right.
But also, okay. But here's the thing: at least Izawa. Okay, first of all, that was non-title. Izawa beat Hamazaki. Then they had the rematch. Then Izawa beat Hamazaki. We were talking about as well. What has the Korean girl done to earn a title shot? We were talking about like why was Juan Biki not getting a title shot even though he's facing Souza and he's a road to UFC vet or whatever, and yet this girl is 3-0 or 50-0 or whatever her record is not for a title. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. When things don't make sense, that's when my brain starts to melt.
We got to sit in the room with them, man. We got to sit,
sit
in the room with Nobuyuki and find out what's.
I'd be like, why Nobu? Why Nobu? Hamza says they should try the French market. They are crazy supports and Rise will do there well. But here's the thing: MMA is weird in France. They're still trying to. They have a lot of things to figure out.
No foot stomps, bro.
No foot stomps. No glass.
Or is that Canada? I don't even remember.
or no glass in your toe. So yeah, I would say give them 5 more. It took New York a long time to figure out MMA, and there needs to be time because if you listen, there's gonna be all. There was this kickboxing show that happened in France that Takaru was on. Do you remember this by any chance, Knox? It was
I'm ringing a bell right now.
It was a terrible show. It was on Fight. It was one of the worst shows I've ever seen. But first of all so Taiju Shiratori had a match there, and the fight went over the time limit because the clock that they were using broke. And I guess what happened was that Taiju he instinctively just what was it? No, the clock on the screen didn't match the clock that they were using. And he I forgot what happened, but he let his guard down because I guess he thought he heard the 10-second thing, and he just put his hands out, and then he got knocked out by the guy that he was facing, who was like not good at all. So, France needs to figure out their shit. Falling Star. So for now, Rise should focus on luxury hotel venues for their Korean expansion before their arenas. Say, listen, one of the things about the Korean shows is that they're always doing hotels and all this stuff, and it looks like dinner theater. I like the look of it. It's not like arena. It's not like an arena. I don't know. What do you think about? Yeah, I like it. They're all dressed nice. They're all like drinking champagne. Meanwhile, you go to a UFC show or whatever, or PFL show.
You start hearing the chants. Everyone's drunk.
People are dressed and people are falling off the banisters as well and breaking their legs. People are out of control. Meanwhile, people are it looks like it's a night out for the theater in the Korean shows. It's a real classy. I like it. The classy part of one of the few classy parts of MMA. Oh, I'm sorry. Kobe Day says the Takaru fight after K1, but right before one that was so bad it forced him. That's the one. That was one. And no, did Luke Thomas has not invited me to my show yet, but I do appreciate you telling him to get me on his show. Thank you so much. Sorry, we've been talking so much about the main event. I'll try to get to everybody else's comments, but we gotta move on. Co-main event: Shoko Sato and Solchu Kim had I should have said a rematch, and Sato won. I don't know what your thoughts are on Shoko Sato. Knox. He's not a favorite of mine, nor a lot of the people in Discord. But I don't know. I'll digress to you if you had any positive things to say about this match.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the most entertaining way to win for sure. But I mean, he did do a lot of damage
Yes.
with those elbows. You know what I mean? He busted him up real good. I was actually kind of surprised that Solchel didn't actually burn him with his pace. You know what I mean? You know, the way he just has that pressure. He didn't melt him at all. You know what I'm saying? I prefer you know, more bangers, so to say. You know what I mean? But he fought a tactical fight. What can I say? He did more damage. I don't know if it was more that Sato won or Kim look off. You know what I mean? I'm not sure.
Well, remember he had that fight a few months ago against Ji Young Yang, where they
Mhm.
clashed heads, and then he got knocked out right after.
Right.
And that was only like I think it was like only 3 or 4 months ago. Not to say that like you can't recover from like that quickly or for a while, but listen, that could have been every MMA fighter has that shot that the Chuck Liddell where that's the
Yep.
fight that changes them. I'm
Yep.
worried now that might have been the fight that changed Social Kim, unfortunately.
Yeah, and well, the guy was awkward too. The Sato was very awkward. I like the way that he was doing a bunch of like Granby rolls too when he was initiating a takedown. You know what I mean? He was hard to keep on the ground,
Yeah.
man. Another thing too is Kim. I've seen his videos, man. Those guys do some hard sparring sessions. So
Oh my
did
gosh.
he really get enough time to recover? You know,
Oh,
like you said,
I saw
those guys
that.
go hard.
Oh my god, I saw that. Oh my god, like I saw the confessions, and I'm just like, oh my god, why are you doing that, you moron? We lost years of Takaru because of hard team Vasilia sparring, and it just I wish at least it's not done so much anymore now. But the fact that people still hard spar as much as they do and before big fights, I still it sickens me because we lose. I think we lose more. I think these guys lose more off their edge in hard sparring than they do in their actual fights. You know.
Yeah, you never. But and then some fighters like Oliveira looks as going back to the UFC real quick. Oliveira looks like he hard spars and he's like leveling up. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
guess it's just the amount of
Yeah.
damage, right?
Yeah. So here's the other thing I want to ask you. So with the Mikuru Chihiro fights, I thought that was an unfair stoppage because I thought it was a little cut. Now after the fact, it blew up, but at the time in the fight, that was a little cut above the eyebrow that they stopped. Now Sochio Kim was bleeding buckets in this fight, and I'm wondering, they didn't even bother to stop to wipe him or check on the cut. I don't know. I was a little bit.
It was the
Maybe,
cage. I'm kidding.
was that?
It was they couldn't see it. It was the
Yeah,
cage. It
oh,
was due to the
it's,
cage.
it's possible. But
No,
like,
I'm not sure.
I'm not gonna. You know how people like to say like Japanese MMA is like rigged and pro wrestling and all that shit. Like I don't think it's not that, but I'm just like, what was the difference? Was what? I'm just trying to think of like what was the difference in cuts, and they're like,
Where
okay,
was it at on him? Was it at his eyebrow? I don't
I
really
think it was on
remember
his.
where it was.
I
Was
think
it
it
on
was
the
the
side?
forehead. I think it was the forehead, but nonetheless, he was bleeding a lot more than Chihiro was, and
Yeah.
Chihiro's
I just
also
know they're very picky with right when it's by the eye immediately. You know what I mean? Yeah,
more.
for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm still never gonna get used to that. I still have, if you remember the Rocky Martinez Crow Cop fights, he had the little cut above the eyebrow, and they stopped it, even though Rocky was actually looking good against Crow Cop. That still angers me that they.
Oh, and another thing too
Yeah.
is Sato's training over there at a Tribe, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. I think that. Yeah. I think we saw Chonin in his corner. I believe it was.
Yeah. They got a good team going over there too. You know what I mean? Maybe he's evolving right there because
Yeah.
they got Hagiwara, Takeda, yeah, I see Yaman there. Shout out to Yaman. Got a
Uh,
good little solid squad over there.
Hagiwara. Did you say Hagiwara?
Hagi, Hagiwara's over there at Tribe.
Yep. Um, I think the most fascinating thing I learned from the confessions video was that his father is apparently this famous clothing
Fashion designer.
designer. Yeah, and also his father was shitting on his own son's fight, saying you fight too much from the bottom. That's why your fights are boring. Which again, you would never see that in a UFC unfiltered or whatever. You wouldn't see anything like that.
No, typical embedded. This is the best fight camp he's ever had. This is the best he's ever looked.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to Saturday night.
Yeah. Or Kim. Still don't know if he's gotten his Switch yet, but the story of him winning the Switch from his wife or something. So
Yeah.
Yep. We're sorry. Were you about to say something?
No, I was gonna say, man, I love the confessions for sure. Confessions takes everything up to the next level. They can make somebody like you were saying, Sato won, it is what it is, whatever. But like even his little backstory is interesting too, and that's just due to confessions getting you close to him. Rizin's very powerful with that. I pray that they keep doing that for sure.
Komedia says probably Shoko Sato's best Rizin fight, perhaps the social Kim effect on him. Chris Cushman says he's excited for Super Rizin 4. What's your favorite fight on that card? I'll defer to you, Knox, first. What is so far your favorite fight on that card?
It's got to be the rematch with Kleber and Mikado for sure. But I'm also interested in Akimoto too. That's a big jump. That's a big jump for the young man. That's a real big jump. But always Yaman too, man. Yaman, I got love for Yaman, man. This is the way that's the just bleed fighter right there, like I was saying in your Discord. Anytime it's a Yaman fight, I don't care what his record is, I'm watching that. That's going to be a certified banger. But for sure, Mikado versus Kleber, the reason that it's so interesting to me is the fact that Kleber got sparked the way that he got sparked. That was a surprise. I know Raj Bahali he's a monster for sure, but I didn't think he was going to run through him like that. And then right now, Mikado is probably seeing blood in the water. You know what I mean? Like, oh, okay. He went out like that. Okay, I just had a big win against Chihiro. Although I know Chihiro, you got to take that fight. That's a big opportunity to take out Mikado on that short notice. I don't think he was full 100%. You know what I mean? But I'm sure he's feeling confident for sure. But yeah, that Mikado Kleber fight, I'm really looking forward to that.
If I have to pick one, I'm probably gonna say Kanehara versus Yaman. I think kind of like fires when it comes to leveling up. Kanehara, when he went up to 145 in Rizin, yeah, he just got better. He had that great fight with Kleber. So many people, you would think Kleber would probably be out-grappling. No, he out-grapples Kleber. He knocks out, I'm trying to remember who he fought, but he knocked out, what's his name? It was Majima. Oh, yeah, it was Majima that he knocked out. And,
yeah, that was pretty crazy.
I forgot. Oh my God, he hasn't fought in a year. Wow, that's been a while. I didn't even realize he hasn't fought like in that long. But a great case of somebody who goes up a weight class. I've always had this theory that if you go up a weight class when you're older, or actually you will do better than going down a weight class, especially when you've had a lot of fights. We'll talk about Koji Takeda, who I think is a great example of that. Kanehara is a great example for that as well.
Yaman, train your takedown defense, Yaman.
Yes,
takedown defense. That's all you need, bro.
Just Bleed fans, Sato winning was a moderate upset in the fifth on the card. One of the card makes it interesting. Code made as a social Kim will have to kill Roadhogger for his wife to get a Switch 2. Oh well, if he can get a Switch 2 at this point, who knows? Because I know people who are desperate for a Switch 2, and who will pay more money than they should. I know you're a gamer, not Switch 2 at all, or no?
I'm PC Master Race, bro.
Good. All good.
But yeah, I don't see anything wrong with just chilling on the couch, maybe having a couple of edibles or something, playing the
mm,
Switch, huh?
gotcha. No, that's the life, man. That's the life. So unbeknownst to us, well, John Case did not make weight again, unfortunately. So he no contested, beats Jiri Ohara. Well, I want to ask you, Knox, what do you think about the whole you miss weight, you basically cannot win the fight, and it goes to a no contest, you give up your purse, all that. What do you think about that versus only how UFC, every other promotion does, where you give up the purse, and but you can still win and rank up?
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a tough one because these guys go through a lot with the training camp and everything like that, traveling, their coaches, all that good stuff. Does he also get penalized for his purse
I
too?
believe so. Yeah, I believe it's purse, red card, and no contest.
Yeah. So do they still? You think he still gets a win bonus or performance
No,
bonus
no, he
somehow
wouldn't get a finish bonus.
under the table?
Well, I don't.
Maybe.
Well, maybe under the table, but certainly not a win bonus. As
Yeah.
far as I know.
Which sucks too. He didn't really like. He wasn't like egregious with the weight miss either, right? Wasn't egregious, right?
It was not as much as the last weight miss for the Bay Noah fight.
Right.
Um, it does suck because he did that video interview for the Rizin TV channel where he said, "Listen,
Yeah.
I'm feeling much better. I'm much more confident. I'm definitely not going to miss weight." And then miss weight. And it's like, homie, why'd you do
Maybe it's
that?
just something with the traveling and everything like that.
Oh yeah,
But he looked so good, man. He looked really good that fight. Like he was looking sharp. All that hobbyist boxing. He says he's a hobbyist boxer. He looks sharp, man.
yeah,
Just not no disrespect to any fighter, or just especially no disrespect to O'Hara. But once you seen Johnny start hitting him with that jab, it was like, ooh, I don't think I want to be here anymore. You know what I mean? It was like I'm not. I just got
well,
that vibe from
here's
him
the
once he
thing.
felt that.
I also know. Listen, I'm sure Ryzen makes catchweight fights all the time. They did it for Shinryu, Ito. And if you look at this card as well, I think there was like at least for their kickboxing matches, they do a lot of catchweights. But um, I'm sure that you could have called Shingo, whoever, and be like, "Hey, listen, I'm struggling with this weight cut. I'm sick or whatever. Can we make it like 160?" I know it's probably maybe sucks for O'Hara, but I don't think it would have been a big deal for O'Hara. I don't know how that guy makes 155. My God, so he's so Attack on Titan tall. My God.
Colossal Titan.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I mean, okay. So one thing's on the Ryzen Twitter thing that they do is they're like, should they face next? And I said Ryzen should have Johnny Case and Spike Carlisle fight each other because both have not made weight in their last fight, and you just gotta see. You gotta do it. They did a clever who missed weight, and Juan Archuleta who missed weight as well. Listen, you gotta have to continue that trend. Oh, you two missed weight. Now you two are gonna fight each other. That's what I say. I don't know. Who would you like to see Johnny Case fight next?
I think that's a funny idea for sure. But
And it doesn't have to be
I would
lightweight.
like to.
If you want to torture them, yeah, do it lightweight. But maybe you could do it at like 160 or something.
Yeah, Spike's a big guy. Yeah, but I honestly though I would really like to see. I'd like to see run that back Gustavo versus Case because remember they were going to fight originally a while back
Yeah.
and like something happened.
Yes.
I want to see Gustavo has nobody to fight. Case made it look easy against O'Hara. I don't think he took too much damage. He got a little cut right there at the end. Nothing too
Yeah.
crazy. I say run Gustavo versus Case Super Rizin. Come on, give him a call up, Nobuyuki. Let's do it.
That's interesting. Yeah, I would. I'm surprised they didn't try to run that back even quicker at some point.
Mm-hmm.
He was also supposed to fight Victor Kolesnik, as well. But
That guy's like a dark horse, Kolesnik for sure.
Yeah.
We'll see what he does in Sapporo for sure.
Jiri O'Hara is one of those fighters I always love, and he always exciting. Who do you think would be a good opponent for him if he ever comes back to Rizin?
I don't know, man. Do you think he's going to stay at lightweight, or do you think he's going to go down? What do you think?
Oh no, I don't know. Without cutting off his legs, I have no idea how he gets to 145.
Yeah,
I don't know how he
he's-
makes 155. He's just so tall and like long. Like I think they said his reach was like 76 or 77 or something really absurd for his height ratio.
Yeah. Man, it would be a good little fight for him to come back to after that. When it's a
Um,
knockout like that, though, I want to see him take some time off first. You know what I mean?
oh yeah,
Take some time off.
if he, I'm pretty 90% sure he got his jaw broken. His
Oh,
jaw,
did he? He was licking his lips kind of oddly after that fight. So
and also
maybe
so
he did.
he had the blood coming from the mouth. That wasn't like, oh, my lip was cut blood. It was like coming from like inside the mouth. So
Like how when Kai fought,
yeah,
what's his name? Remember when
okay,
he broke his
oh yeah,
jaw?
yeah.
Yeah,
So if you remember,
and it just was pouring.
my favorite broken jaw knockout, Struve and Hunt.
Oh, oh my gosh, bro. Yeah, the skyscraper when he folded him.
Oh yes, yeah. So yeah. Yeah, but yeah, listen, Johnny Case, Gustavo. Listen, yeah, I would love to see that. I would love to see that.
Oh, dude, violent, ultra violence. You ever seen the flick? A Clockwork Orange.
That's my favorite movie of all time. That
There
is
you
my
go, Stanley Kubrick, brother. Ultra violence.
yeah.
Let's do it.
Oh my god, we got so much. We got so much comments. I'm gonna start a review Falling Star. Interesting that Bar is sending its fire to other promotions with this PFL deal. I feel like this is a good one, the wrong one, because Rizin is more flexible. But they're sending Takeshi Izumi, who's pretty terrible. Americans just need to compete in open weight fights in Japan. Yeah, but if they want to become champion, they just. And I agree. Yeah, the food is just. Listen, if you're in cutting weight in Japan's got to be like the worst thing ever. Because look, when they're offering you like fucking katsu on the plane and all that stuff, it's just like, oh man. Kobe Day, Jiri Ohara versus Yachi 2. Do you remember the first fight that they had?
I don't. It's not off the top of my head. No, I would have to
That
rewatch
was
that
one
bad
of
boy.
those pandemic fights, and it was a crazy back and forth
Banger.
fight. Yeah. So yeah, and Yachi's also on the downswing in my.
He just lost to Saku Jr. Why
Yeah.
not?
So actually, that could be good thinking.
Sure.
Was it? Oh, I need and Gustavo to start winning again, or my life is meaningless. I know, Isha. Me too. Me too. And Chris Barnett made 265. Anything is possible. Oh wait, you're right. He didn't. Actually, no. Caleb made 135. That tells you anything is possible. So you, I know you didn't really answer about. Oh yeah, what do you think? Do you think that the UFC should adopt the missing weight thing, or do you think that Rizin should allow a win to be a win for missing weights?
Maybe they could discuss it between the fighters and say, okay, you're taking some of my purse. You know what I mean? I don't know. In my opinion, it was a win. You could say whatever you want on paper, but it's a win. I'm sure Johnny Case is thinking that in his head too.
So my argument is that John Lineker, despite missing weight for his, I think it was the title was it? I think it was the 135 title eliminator fight. I think it was 135. No, yeah, it was that. He won that fight, missed weight, and still got the fight. Was it Dillashaw? Maybe it was Dillashaw. I think it was.
And you weight bullied him.
So like, I'm like, I don't like the idea that you can miss weight and you still get you still get to climb up in rankings. Let's be honest. The money for some of these fighters doesn't matter, or they're getting paid shit anyway, so the money doesn't 20% of 20,000, whatever the fuck. But like, I don't like the idea that someone can still rank up missing weight. I think that's a little bit. I think you should be forced to stay where you are in the rankings, at least.
Yeah, if it's egregious, for sure, I'm all for that.
Let's see. Johnny Case was, Lineker has plot armor. He really does, man. I don't know how that man is still going. Now he's doing Muay Thai. I cannot fucking believe it. The Seoul Women's match on this show. Kate Lotus outgrapples Yuri Shim. Listen, I've always said, the one that the comments that people who fight Kate Lotus have always said, they say she is the strongest person I've ever fought. Women who have fought her and beaten her, and who have lost to her say that they cannot that she is just strong because she was a fitness model, bodybuilder before she became an MMA fighter. And I kind of thought, yeah, she's going to kind of overpower Yuri Shim, and that's what she kind of did. Any thoughts on this fight, Knox?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. She did look very strong. The way that she was kind of tossing Shim around for sure. Um, she's training at where Saika used to train at before. I can't think
Oh
of
yeah,
the name. What was
not
the name of
Roy.
it? No,
Roy's?
no, no. It's not.
No,
It's
it's Yokota is the coach. Yokota,
yeah.
crazy Yokota. Oh my God.
Can't think of the name right now. But
Mm.
there's another potential fight for Saika right there. I'm sure they've had a lot of rounds against each other too, and if it'll be a grappler's delight, you know what I mean?
Mm. Well, I mean, yeah, her name's not Reina, so she'll definitely fight her. So that's definitely possible. Um, Now, what's interesting is that Yuri Shim has been kind of the go-to Korean woman for Rizin, it seems. Do you think they'll bring her back?
Um, she looks pretty good. It
Even though
feels like she like
I think she's lost all of her Rizin fights. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah. She does look like she has a lot of potential. She just needs to I don't know what it is. It's just maybe like she's like a very fit. She looks very physical, but for whatever reason, in the ring, it's not showing the physicality. You know what I mean? For her size, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I don't
yeah.
know. Maybe I don't know. Just something is just not there. I feel like she has mad heart. You know what I mean? She took some good shots and she kept coming. Um, maybe she just needs to. I don't know. I'm not sure, man. You know what I mean? She just. I feel like she just needs to be a little bit more physical. You know what I mean? Put her.
Do you
You
keep
know what I'm
saying that?
saying?
Do you keep saying that because she was on Physical 100?
No, I actually never seen that. Is that the one that Sexy Alma was on?
Yeah, but she was also on it. So that's why
Oh,
I
okay.
thought you were making the reference. Like she's gotta be physical, physical, because she was on Physical 100.
No, I feel like her body, like the size that she should be more imposing. You know what I mean? I would think that she's just more imposing, but she's not. You know what I mean? She's not as imposing as I think she should be. You know what I'm saying?
It's so interesting
Um,
that she took that she retired from MMA, and then comes back and is now back on a losing streak. She retired as a champion and then decided, she fell in love with again. I don't know. Yeah. Kind of the other thing also is that Atom weight is kind of dying right now in Ryzen. It's no longer this big division that it used to be, unfortunately. Um, I don't know why, but Kana retiring doesn't help. Um, yeah, I mean,
there's a lot of people in Deep coming up though, right? Deep Jewels, everything like that.
yeah,
Aren't they? They're starting to bring some people up from there, right? They're starting to find some talent in there because
yeah,
there's going to be some people from Deep Jewels from on the Super Ryzen, right?
yeah. That's true. That's true. Yeah.
They're
You
just
know,
not very big people, you know what I mean? So I would think that they're going to find some talent there for sure at
mhm,
that weight class.
yeah. So when you say we'll talk about that, K Lotus is actually one of the most popular Deep Jewels card, uh, fighters from there. I know that Charlie Jude was telling me that like she has like the most ticket sales, the most merchandise, or the most attention that or her YouTube her fights when they're uploaded to YouTube get the most views. K Lewis has that. Um, Problem is also a lot of those deep. So the problem is that also that in Japanese women's MMA, there's like you have people that are excellent, and then but they have no like personality, and then you have people who are kind of shit, but they have like great personality, and it's like yeah, the lady who just beat Hime. Hime beat supposedly that was going to be one of the futures of Japanese women's MMA. Honoka Shigeta. When that was supposed to be a gimme fight for Honoka, but she missed weight and all that, and lost as well. So that's her second loss as well. Yeah. WMA scene. Rise of Spirit utilized Saori Oshima more as done, but I also think it's also on Oshima as well, because she has said that she's going to retire. She wasn't going to do any MMA until she was taking a break while her husband was doing this like judo excursion or something. It was something weird. Comey, he made was top 10 atom weight. It was a good fight, but top 10 atom weight is not like it's like being the best ice skater in Jamaica, especially in like Japan. She is not a top 10 capital T. But I get your point. What is it? Oh, City Life says Oshima should be in Rizin, not Invicta or P. I think you're referring to Oshima. But yeah, Deep Jules is also great. Subscribe to her channel and watch their fights and all that. Do you regularly watch Deep shows?
I catch some occasionally. As I have time, I'm all about Japanese MMA for sure, man.
As everybody who watches this hopefully is. If not, please watch Japanese MMA. So this fight was a little interesting. I would probably say, other than the prelim, maybe my least favorite fight on this card, Usami Kilpatrick had a match with Siwon Kim. And I've noticed this about Usami is that he is listen, he can knock you out with one punch, but man, this guy is not. The overall thing I got from this show was that the Korean guys, minus a few matches, the Korean fighters, they all had this sense of urgency, this sense of, I am losing. I need to do something. This is one of the fights where that didn't happen, but with Usami, I know he just seemed slow. He seemed there wasn't that this is not the same fighter that was the guy who knocked out Noah like he did.
Right. Right. I agree with you. He's like lacking some sort of urgency, that I guess is for lack of a better term, because it feels like he's hurting these guys in these fights, and all he has to do is just turn it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Burn a little bit of energy out of that tank. You know what I'm saying?
Now, I wonder, do you think that he was worried about the takedown possibilities from Kim, and that's why he was like, I don't know if I'm going to do that? Because I think Kim has I think he had some grappling background, not that. Oh, he's from Korean Zombies MMA. So, yeah, I mean, do you think he was just a little bit worried about the takedowns and maybe just kind of like, I'm going to hold back a little bit so I don't get yachi'd like I did in my last fight?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is, man, but I definitely agree with you. I felt like he had old boy on the ropes pretty much, so to say, and all he had to do was just turn it up a little notch, and he could have got that finish. I don't know, man. He looked pretty imposing against Kim, so I'm not sure if he really was too worried about the grappling itself. I just feel like maybe it could just be a mental thing. You know what I mean? Like you said about that, maybe I don't know. Maybe he just needs to. What did Fluffy Hernandez from UFC said about, like, he's sometimes I just need like a jump start. I need to get my ass kicked a little bit. You know what I mean? Just a little jump start.
By the way, the gym that we were trying to think of, K-Clan. That's the one we were trying to think of.
That's what it is. K-Clan. Yeah, Juntaro and all them are from there, right? Yeah.
Yep. WMAC now says, yeah, Oshima's husband is the breadwinner of the family, so while the kids were still super young, she wouldn't reign while he was training for judo tournaments. Okay, that explained that. Too much catching for big bro Usami. He said, and Sadil Aisha, our buddy who I did the preview with, said, I think he was just out of shape, to be honest. Not sharp, flat-footed, and got lucky with the power advantage at points. And I've noticed, when he had his debut in Rizin against Shinji Sasaki, he had the same thing as well. And then, it's just this tentativeness in him. And I don't know, there's times where he looks like a killer, like he did it with Noah, and then there's times like this.
And he has that mean, like, body shot, like Canelo style. He has that mean left, like, body shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was hurting that guy with those body shots too. Maybe it's just a little mental thing.
So Rizal has a question: did Patrick have to deserve a decision? I think he did enough. I think they were judging by Rizin rules, I believe, and I think he did enough to win by that standard. What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. He was the one controlling.
Because flat-footed. Damn it, Patchy. Let's not get into what happened with Patchy Mix yesterday. No, it resulted in a lot of tears. Question for Usami next. I know you said Case versus Gustavo, but what about Gustavo versus Usami?
That would be a big jump for Usami.
He hasn't
You
really
know,
faced like a sharp striker like that guy.
yeah. That I mean, I'm all for ultra violence, bro. You know what I mean? That would be fun too.
Hmm.
That would be real fun actually. That's definitely one to think about. Yeah, that's a big jump though. You know what I mean? Gustavo's fresh off of that. He just challenged for the title, recent. Um, and like we were talking about earlier against Nomura, he kind of started off slow, but then he was picking it up. That cut kind of stopped his little
Well,
his surge there. But yeah, that'd be a big jump
we'll
for
see how he
Usami.
does in his next fights, and then if that was like, oh, maybe jitters from the Souza loss, then that was like, okay, if he's the same like rabid animal that he's been in his previous fights, then okay, yeah, I would probably assume the Souza fight did something for that fight specifically. It was just like, okay, I'm gonna not do that. But if he fights the same way like he did then it'll be like, okay, that Souza fight changed him. This is how he's gonna be for the rest of his career, unfortunately. What about Pace versus Usami?
That might be good too. I'd say I just want to see because how old is Case right now, man?
He's got to be going into his 30s, man. I believe. I'll double check on that, but he's definitely late 30s.
Yeah, I want to see him. I want to see him versus Gustavo for sure. Before you know what I mean, because you never know. Maybe he can make one more title run, just make it fun. I
Oh,
don't know if he'll
35.
really. I don't know.
He's
Yeah, will
35.
he fight Satoshi again though? I mean, I know they trained. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, they trained, and that should be like no, that should be no issue. But like, I mean, they're 1-1 together, and you know, but listen, he's at the bottom of the list. I think he's kind of had a little bit of a downswing in his career, so I don't think he's really done other than being Satoshi many years ago when Satoshi was a lesser fighter. That's like, yeah, I think he needs to earn. I think he needs to do a little bit more
For
to earn the
sure.
title.
I
Yeah.
think. I think fighting Luis would be a good step in that direction for sure.
Mm-hmm. I mean, well, here's the other thing: is now, if you do you want to, for a guy who has no grappling experience, Chrome Gracie just got released from UFC. Would you maybe want to do Chrome Gracie versus Patrick?
Oh no! Do you think they're gonna bring him? Do you think they're gonna bring him to you, Ryzen again?
I'm gonna say they bring him back for one fight. He was such an important part of Rise's like original their original like thing, and then yeah, pandemic he went to and then somehow wound up in UFC. But here's the other thing now he lives like in Montana. He lives off not off the grid, but he was in Montana. So you know what? I don't know. He may not be even into MMA anymore for all we know.
Had an
That's the
awakening.
he fought like once every 3. He lost. He had the fight with Cub Swanson. He lost that and like he disappeared. Like, and then he had the fight. Wasn't the Bryce Mitchell fight? Was the fight that he had right after that Cub Swanson fight? I think.
No. He fought the Canadian cat. What's his name? I forget his name right now.
Laramie was it Laramie?
No. He fought the Canadian. Kron fought that Canadian guy. Man, I can't think of his name right now. The one that did the He did the Sparta kick on that other. Oh man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
Jourdain.
oh yes. Oh, Jordan fucked him up. I remember that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Kron is interesting though. I mean, he's a quote unquote weirdo. You know what I mean? That's good for MMA. You know what I mean? A personality, a weirdo. That's awesome for MMA. That's what sells. You know what I mean? Someone being a personality. I like the fact that he's had an awakening and he voices his opinion. That's cool to me. You know what I mean? That's fun. That makes it fun. It makes it interesting instead of just saying, "Yo, I trained very hard for this fight. I'm in shape. Yo, I have respect." You know what I mean? That makes it fun. As far as if they were to bring him over, I'm not sure who they would. I'm not sure who they would pair him with. Honestly, right now, maybe they could do somebody, another grappler. I'm not sure.
the only fight, him versus Kleber. That's the only fight I'll take. I'll take nothing else.
That would be fun.
Yeah. I guess you could do a non-title fight with Souza, but again, I don't want to waste again, non-title fights, whatever. But also, he may be done with MMA at this point. He seemed checked out of that Bryce Mitchell fight, so who
Yeah,
knows?
I'm sure he has a lot of money too, so it's good.
Oh, that too as well. He's got his own jiu-jitsu school in the mountains of Montana or wherever he is. Um, so yeah, continuing on the show, Jian Yang made easy work with Kintaro. Kintaro now is 15-15 and something else on his record. Man, question: do you think Kintaro should retire at this point?
It doesn't look as though he's really evolving much, but who am I to say for him to retire? I hope that he finds something that pushes him to continue on and get better. You know what I mean? I want these guys to earn a living, for sure. And I want them all to be successful. It's fun. But yeah, it's not like he's evolving. You know what I mean? He landed a couple shots against Yang. Looked like he rocked him a little bit, gave him a little Bambi legs here and there. But you know what I mean? He falls back into the same bad habits. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he could be more like a Mikey Brown from American Top Team and be like a coach. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Maybe that's his true calling. Who knows?
Surprisingly though, so he's built his he trains out of ATT actually for all of his fights since the Dojo loss, and yet he seems to have gotten worse.
Not bad habits. I feel like it's the same habits. You know what I mean? Bad habit. He falls back into what got him there instead of picking up using the new stuff. You know what I'm saying? I see it sometimes. It's just falling into bad habits. Yang looked good though, man. I'm really upset that him and Kai never got to do that fight back in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to see that. Is that when Kai had hand surgery?
Kai was always getting. He always had those hand injuries. Remember, like the Naoki
It's too hard,
fight?
man.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, it's like. By the way, I apologize if you're hearing some loud music in the background. That is the Puerto Rican Pride Parade going on outside my apartment.
Good old New York.
Yeah. So, but yeah, yeah. Kai. Remember, Kai was like, they were like, oh, they would book Kai for a show. Then he had to pull out because the injury broke his hand. It happened. That's why we never got the Naoki Inoue fight. I think he got injured one time, and then Naoki got injured the other time, and then he left for UFC when they probably should have fought. And then yeah, they were supposed to fight, and then Yang fought. Oh, he fought Shoji. Remember, he fought Shoji, Kai's training partner, instead. And then he challenged Kai, and then yeah, and then Kai. Yeah, they never did that rematch for whatever reason, or they never rebooked that match for some reason. But yeah, oh yeah, Yang looks good, man. I want to see him and Kim again, but I think he's gonna fuck up Kendo. That's the only thing. Yeah, I don't know. Is there any other fight that you think Jian Yang would get, or do you think would be a good fight for him and Rizin?
I guess whoever would be the winner between Inoue and Ryu, that'd be fun.
Yeah, it's interesting. Oh, that's an interesting one.
That'd be fun.
Well, let's see. Hopefully, I don't know. Maybe Inoue goes, if he wins, he goes to UFC after.
No, please don't stay at Rizin. Please don't.
Supposedly rumors.
I feel like UFC is just slowly dying. You know what I mean? It's just more casuals, more bros.
Yeah.
Getting over there. It's just like, I don't know.
They have, I think, Kome Day said they have close to 700 fighters on their roster. It's hoarding. Like, it is hoarding a fight. Like, I wouldn't. It's one thing, like, getting signed to UFC 10 years ago, or not even 10 years ago, I'll say 20 years ago, it's not the same as it is now. There is no, it's anything like WWE. I don't know if you're a WWE wrestling fan or were at some point.
When I was young, I used to be.
Yeah. But, like, now WWE signs everybody. And it's no longer exciting because, okay, this guy's going to go, yeah, it's saturated and that, yeah. But, like, whenever, like, when it used to be, like, 2009, when, like, some guy from Indies got signed to WWE, it would be like exciting because like they don't sign indie guys, they sign guys like this. But now UFC UFC puts people on Contender Series or the Road to UFC or whatever. So yeah,
it's the rule set for me too, man. Rizin the superior rule set. It feels like a real fight. It's more flowy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, I'm not sure his hands on the ground. Can I knee? Like, I don't know. It makes, I feel
I
like
get
they
it.
could go more on instincts in Ryzen.
Yeah. But here's the thing: I want Rise of that to be Rise's specialty. I don't want UFC because
True.
if you want to see that type of rule set, you can only see in Ryzen and KSW occasionally. But yeah, I don't want that's if it's something unique to Ryzen, I want them to have it. That's why when people say like, oh, they should, from a selfish Ryzen fan perspective, I don't want to utilize because when people want to see that, I can just say, oh, I'll just type in go watch Ryzen. You can see that type of stuff.
Right.
But I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I get it. Why people want it here. I get it. I totally get it.
And just the culture too, man. You know what I mean? Like we were talking about, earlier, that you want to go to a UFC event, everyone's chugging beer, everyone's standing in front of somebody you can't see because the guy's standing in front of you screaming the whole time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? USA chants going every 2 seconds. It's like, who
Yeah.
cares, bro? These guys are going to war for you. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, I know.
who cares what country they're from? It's
I
all a
know.
corporation. They're going to war, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Crazy.
We'll move on to the next fight. And kind of these two fights were kind of like sisters of each other, or brothers and sisters of each other, for just how they went. Min Ji came back to finish Coach Takeda, and yeah, I'm convinced that Coach Takeda is on the downswing as a MMA fighter at this point. He has not looked good since going down to 145. I have this theory that if you've had enough MMA fights, you've gotten punched in the face a few times, a good number of times, going down in weight does not help you. Cutting that extra water is not going to help you at all, especially when your job is to get punched in the face. So, yeah, I don't think I would think he should go back to 155 for his own health.
His body looks good too, man. Like, he looked like physically good. You know what I mean? Yeah. You saw his abs. He looked pilled. Takeda, I'm talking about. So he looked physically good, but it's like, I don't understand. He just does. It's like the same thing. Bad habits again. You know what I mean? He's like, once he starts getting tagged a little bit, you know what I mean? He starts putting his hands down, stuff like that. Because his body looked good, but yeah, maybe he's depleting himself a little bit too much. But then I feel like he's going to be too undersized for 55. So it's
he's beating guys at 155 though. So I think
True.
Yeah, I don't think he's too undersized, especially in Japan. Facing guys at 155. I mean, he doesn't look no smaller than like a Nusami, or I'm trying to think who else. I mean, maybe relative to like a guy like a Souza or something. Maybe he's smaller in that way. But
and I mean, he went split decision with Gustavo. I mean, he went all the way to round 3 against Tofik. But I don't know, man. You know what I mean? It's just he just needs to develop his hands a little bit more. I know he's a really good wrestler, but you already got that in the bag. You need to develop a little bit more hands.
What was it?
Striking.
It's like the opposite of what Khabib told Henry Cejudo. You're a wrestler.
Brother, you don't need to create distance, brother. You need to close distance. You're Olympic champion, brother.
But here, so you talked about ads before. Here's the one thing I can comfortably say. Korean fighters, I don't know what factory they're coming out of. They're way too good looking to be fucking fighters, man. These guys look like fucking models.
K-pop.
It's probably like the K-pop water that they're drinking. Because man, just like look at some of these guys.
Got some cap for sure.
Other than the cauliflower ears, these guys look like they just came out of like a K-pop band, man. It's so bad.
After G1 too, when he was walking away, I don't know if that was his girl or not, but she was like looking very worried about his face. She was touching his face and stuff because his eye had a little more. But he looked really good, man. He looked large too. He looked like a large gentleman. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, yeah,
really
this G guy, he's finished all of his fights. Man, no, he looked, and he was the guy who had the fight with Red Hawk and Black Combat. And if you watch that fight, so the cool thing about Black Combat is that they subtitle everything. They subtitle VTR, what the commentators are saying, and what the coaches are saying. And the coaches are telling him, he's losing the fight. Basically, the same thing happened in this fight with that fight. They're telling him, you need to turn up a notch. And he's like, okay. And he did that. Did the same thing in this fight as well. I think it's fair to say he was clearly losing and then, knew he had to think of a different game plan. And that was
shout out to the young man too. He didn't look like he was in over his head. He looked very composed.
Yeah.
especially going through the adversity he went through early. Um, he didn't, like I said, he looked very composed. So shout out to the young man.
Yeah. Um, Here's the one thing I'm worried about though, and other than maybe Yang, maybe Shim, the winners or all the Korean fighters. Do you think Rizin will bring any of them back to Japan? Because my question is because so the Azerbaijan show we have only not counting Tofik or Rugar, the one guy who made an appearance on that show who Rizin has brought back is Nazimov, but nobody else has returned. Do you think we'll get to see any of these guys again, or are they going to be kind of stuck in AFC Road Black Combats?
I hope not, man. I hope Nobuyuki really liked what he saw. I think more competition, especially internet. I know, I get it. They want Japanese fighters to hold the titles and everything like that. Keep it in Nihon, the bout that is. But I think competition from around the Earth realm for sure is just going to make it. It's just going to blow Rizin up more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get a champion in Korea holding a Rizin title. People are going to be, what's going on? What's this Rizin? What is this? People in Korea, so on and so forth. It's just going to cause it to expand more and more and more. You know what I'm saying? I think that everything is cyclical in time. There was a time when Japanese MMA was at the peak. UFC was down here, and now UFC's up. But I don't know. I feel like it's cyclical and it's changing. You know what I mean? So
I get also a lot of those guys who on the Azerbaijan show are, I guess, much farther away. Plane ticket probably costs a little bit more. But Korea's like $100 plane ticket round trip from Japan.
Nope.
Yeah, and I think also the other great thing was that a lot of these Korean guys, if you look at their records, most of them, a lot of them don't have like big. Some of them haven't even have more than 10 fights on their record. So seeing them go up against guys that were like veterans, like Canada, yeah, they show they can hang. Yeah. And I don't think. Listen, the other thing is also for these guys' sake, like you don't develop by just staying and fighting in Road FC or AFC or even Black Combat. They have to. I'm hoping that for their sake, Rizin is booking gets them also more ring or cage time. That's the other thing.
For sure.
Because if these guys, I'm sure these guys are, but also the other hesitation I get is that, what about if you want to sign a guy, but then Road to UFC comes by and you're like, oh, well, come to Road FC, Hyuk Minji, come Red Hawk.
Dana, stop it, stop poaching fighters, bro. You have enough. Stop.
Get paid $4,000 to show, $4,000 to win. That's actually because since it's not, in the United States, I know fighters who have gotten paid $4,000 to win, $4,000 to show for Road to UFC.
Yeah, that's crazy. How do you even pay your coaches? It's
crazy. Yeah.
Your meals, you know what I mean? Your nutrition.
Yeah.
Your training, your gym fees. Crazy.
Well, actually, I'll ask you this: for Koji Takeda, I have no doubt we'll probably see him back. Who do you think will be a good opponent for him next? Because especially he's on a losing streak now, I think. And obviously we know where his. Oh, actually no, I forgot about the Suguru knee fights. That was a weird fight, but okay, not on a losing streak, but hasn't looked as good since his.
That's the one where he got kneed in the groin.
Yes, no. Oh wait, no, he did. Yeah, he got knee in the groin that one, and also the other one he got Hagiwara as well.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he's losing because he got hit in the balls really hard twice. Maybe that's why he's
messes his testosterone up a little bit. Yeah, man. I guess it really depends where he decides to go. If he goes up to lightweight and make a run again, because he's at a good gym and he's over there at Tribe. I've seen him training over there at Tribe. I guess it really depends on where he goes. Honestly, if he's going to go up at lightweight, maybe he can take on the loser between Nomura and Patricky. What about that?
That'd be interesting. Yeah. My brain just had the opponents in mind, and unfortunately I just forgot it. But if he goes up the weight, it'll come back right at the end of the show. But I would like to see him go back to lightweight. Personally, I think he could. I think it's much healthier for him. I think I think he can do what he does as an MMA fighter, more as an MMA fighter. Oh, thank you. Komei Day, Majima versus Takeda. That's who I was thinking of. Kazumasa Majima versus Takeda. If he stays at um
Feather, man.
yeah, Feather.
Yeah.
Um Rise will die is a great question. When will Koji Takeda realize that he doesn't just have to commit to Greco-Roman wrestling in his fights? Well, that's what we're talking about. Is that he's just so committed to it.
Bad habits. Yep.
Yeah, it's a habit for him. He can't shake it off. Oh, sorry, wrong one. So kind of similar to this fight. This fight went kind of went the same way where Young Jae Song came back to beat Yoshiki Nakahara, who listen, I'll say this. I don't know what happened to Nakahara. This, is maybe one of my least favorite fighters to watch in Rizin. Like a guy who's just like, ugh. I don't know. This guy used to be great in one, and then he lost to Gary Tonin, and then yeah, his fights have been mid for whatever reason. Tell me what you thought about this fight, Knox.
It looked as though he was doing pretty good. Nakahara was doing pretty good in the beginning. He was putting pressure on Song, and I felt like once Song started landing those hands on him, Nakahara said, "Nope, I don't wanna feel these hands anymore, bro." So then we're gonna start grappling, and then he initiated the grappling. But I feel like he tired himself out once Song started just D'ing up on him, with the takedown defense and everything like that. Song looked good, man. He looked really good. He didn't look like he was in over his head for sure, at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He stayed composed and he sparked him, man. He put a finishing touch on him for sure. He looked really good. I would like to see him back, the super rookie. Bring him back to Rizin. Bring him to a Japanese show for sure.
How long does someone stay the super rookie though after having 10 fights so far? I mean, is eventually like it's like Horie has the rising star. Like eventually, like when does that name go away and you get a new name?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Josh Barnett wasn't gonna always be the babyface assassin forever, especially when he has a 10-foot long beard. So
yeah,
eventually the name has to change at some point. But maybe 10 fights is rookie.
War Master now.
The other thing, he's for MMA, he's actually kind of old, 29. I don't want to say okay, it's not old, but it's not. I don't know. When you think of a super rookie, like I'm thinking like 18, 19, 20, 29. Right. I don't know. It's like saying Daniel Cormier after winning the Strikeforce Grand Prix is a super rookie at like 34 or whatever the age that he won it at.
I just like the fact that he has a lot of KOs. What seven of his wins are KOs, TKOs? Yeah. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, this is another guy I hope Rizin brings back, man. And I got another guy who knew he was losing, probably was going to lose because he was getting laid on by Nakahara for 3 rounds, and then finally turned it up. And that was the thing. Yeah, the Korean guys knew when they had to get Leon Edwards, as I like to call it.
Don't let him bully you, Rock.
Yeah, and Usami for some reason didn't have it in this fight. We'll talk about Kota Miura as well, who certainly did not have it in his fight. And yeah, another great example of a Korean guy who I really hope comes back. I really hope they find. It'll be a great fight actually for a Song if he actually fights the actual Ryo Takagi, not the fake Ryo Takagi. Yeah,
I saw that on the Topology. I was like, wait, is that Chihiro's boy? That's not Chihiro's boy.
So there's two. There's one. It's like remember there was like 2 stun guns in UFC. There was like one good one, Dong Hyun Kim, and then there was another one who wasn't that good. And I don't know if they're the same weight class, but there was 2 stun guns. There's 2 Ryo Takagis. One is the great one that we know who had the fight with Akimoto, and then there's other guy who, as you can see, is 6-12. Not even 6-12 anymore. I think it's got to be more now. 6-13, excuse me. So yeah. So yeah. Plus, I think that's got to be one of the few times in MMA where somebody has faced the same opponent, the opponent with the same name but different. One of those weird like MMA things that maybe like has never happened in a major promotion. So yeah. I don't know. I'm not a fan of Nakahara. I think his rise and tenure has been a bust. I don't know. Do you think I don't know. So I was thinking. I know you said Majima versus Ikeda. I don't know. Maybe just take the two boring fighters or the two fighters who aren't looking so good at 145, Takeda, Nakahara, have them fight. I don't know. Sometimes that it brings out something. It sometimes works.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
make bump them up to 55 maybe. See
Oh,
how
that's
it
true as well.
goes.
Have them fight both fight at 55, and maybe
Yeah,
that will just be
test test fight. See if they still want it. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Um, So as I just mentioned before, some fighter who did not have the killer instinct was Kota Miura, who got this gotta be, if it's not upset of the year, it it should be like top three upsets of the year at least. Yang Cho Kwan, this guy who never had an MMA fight, who's only had amateur, I think, Muay Thai or kickboxing, and destroys like destroyed Kota Miura badly. I don't know. Are
Yeah.
you? What do you think? Like, sorry, go ahead, Knox.
Now, I was gonna say, he did not even look bad either when Kota was going for takedowns too. He made like one mistake early. Kota kind of got him to the ground, but he mat returned. He got up real quick, and then Kota tried it again, and he did really well, bro. Like he picked it up real quick. What he needed to do to get out of that, and I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. Maybe Kota comes from he comes from money. Maybe you know what I mean. These guys are very hungry compared. You know what I'm saying? Maybe
Mm.
it could be something with that. I feel like he hasn't been the same since he fought Yaman. To be honest,
He's at yeah. If
you
you look
know.
at, he's beaten he beat a Muay Thai guy in MMA, and then he beat Yushi in his first fight, which Yushi is Yushi. But yeah, that Ren
Yoshi.
the Yaman fight was that was a I was there for that actually, and that was brutal. That,
Oh
that
man, yeah.
um.
You don't want to take damage from Yaman. You
So
saw
the
Mikuru after he fought Yaman in that kickboxing match, and he was saying, "Who
yeah.
is this guy, Mikuru?" Is that
So
me?
the other issue was that I think Kota had. So I follow him on social media. This guy loves going out, having a good time, being, I don't know, an influencer in Thailand or wherever he's from or
Like a
wherever he's living
model for
now.
sure. Like a
Yeah.
model, yeah.
And, you know, if you want to, especially now, and here's the thing, he had the easiest opponent in the world. This opponent was clearly picked for him to beat. It's like, yeah, like even if you love Rizin, you have to admit they found this guy because like, okay, Kota can definitely beat this guy, and yeah, so it's yeah, and he's I don't know, I this is a case of if I'm Nobu, and this probably won't happen because he's got 100. He's the most I think second or I don't know if Mikuru has more followers or Kota does, but they're neck and neck at least for number one, number two, but. I tell Kota Miura, listen, go to deep. Go to deep, fight someone there, get one win, maybe two.
Get your skills. Don't
Get
take so
more
much damage.
confidence. Yeah, get more confidence. Yeah. That's the other thing. In his fights that he's lost, if you see, they're all he's taken massive damage. He's gotten the shit kicked out of him in his fights.
Another thing
Badly.
too is like what blew my mind is he was deep on a single leg, and you know Kwan was just striking him, and he
Yeah.
like gave up. It's like
Yeah.
he didn't want to be there. You know what I mean?
Was that when he was kind of like doing the elbows?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he like just he said, I quit type. You know what I mean? That's got to be the fact, like his upbringing and stuff like that. That I'm sure that plays a big role. When you come from money, you're not as hungry. You know what I mean? Compared to like Raj Bahali, look how he grew up. Look at where he's from. You know what I mean? This guy has something to prove. You know what I mean? He wants more for him and his family. You know what I mean? For sure. You know what I'm saying? When you have,
Yeah.
it's like the Michael Jordan effect. You know what I mean? Look at his sons. Compared to Michael Jordan did what he did, and his kids didn't. Sort of that deal. Because isn't Koda's father like really big soccer star, right?
Yep. Oh, King Kazu is the most famous soccer player that ever come from Japan. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just I hope he comes back. You know what I mean? He'd be big for Ryzen. He has a lot of followers and stuff like that. But like you said, maybe he needs to go to deep, build his confidence back up. You know what I mean? Take on
Yeah.
some more regional scene opponents first.
The other thing is, I believe he lives in Thailand now, or maybe he goes between Japan. But he was training at Brave when he first started,
Right.
and now I'm pretty sure he's training. He trains with I think Buakaw, or maybe
Right.
one of those other gyms. But like, like he definitely needs lesser. I think he also maybe a new gym environment as well. Travel somewhere to
Yeah.
America, go to ATT, go to AKA, go somewhere, go to Europe. I don't want to say that Thailand, because I know they have the gym there was a Phuket top team and the
Tiger.
What's the big one? The other big one.
Tiger Muay Thai and then
Yes, Tiger Muay Thai. Also, those guys who train there, so like those Muay Thai guys who train there have been training since like 2 years old. So, yeah. And then you have other guys like Victor Kolesnik who trained there, Tofik who's also training there. You have guys who are already established, who've already been through the rigors, I guess, of MMA and are hungry, like you said, and know and are they're used to that. I don't know. I think this is a case of also he either has to go all in, or he also might have to quit, because you can't really. If he's losing to guys like this is something like you need to like be training almost every day for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
What was it Malcolm Gladwell said that like when you train 500 hours in something, you become an expert or something like that? Something kind of like. So, yeah, I think maybe there's something like along those lines where he just, he's going to have to give up the comfortable influencer social media lifestyle. Well,
because it's like he's given up. You know what I mean? Because his grappling is pretty good considering he's training with these Thai guys. I would think that his hands would develop a lot more. But
I'm going to tell you this though: if difficulty that he has holding somebody's back for somebody who I'm going to presume does not have the same amount of years as MMA training as him, I had secondhand embarrassment that he could not sink in a rear naked choke easily on that. And he's not Souza. This guy isn't Satoshi Souza, but I'm confident if I had fought Kota's opponent, I could have choked him out from that position. I'm that confident. Yeah,
I feel like he could maybe he needs to lift a little bit more too. You know what I mean? Just put on a little bit more size. Same thing with the Takagi too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but also the other thing is then he won't be like, he won't be as hot to the women because that weird thing where like the Asian women kind of don't like too muscular. They like a little bit of like that
pretty boy
sort muscular. They don't want like a Schwarzenegger type or whatever type thing. But exactly. I think what's this? Falling Star says, you saw that post of PFL Dom Davis doing this bet of 100% profits go to UFC. Oh yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever the fuck. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. So yeah. that's like when Eric Bischoff challenged Vince McMahon to a fight on WCW Nitro because he knew it would never happen. That's for all the youngins out there. Actually, so I'll say about Kwan. I hope Kwan, though, because even though he ruined Rizin's plans, I hope they give him another fight or he gets to fight somewhere else at least. Because
that'd be great.
Listen, he was brought on to lose. He didn't lose. He didn't follow the script, to go back to another WCW reference. So, yeah, I hope he doesn't. So Bellator always used to do a thing where, like, if their prospect was beaten, they would then take the guy who beat the prospect and give him like a fight against like a top 5 guy, and they would always get mauled. I hope that doesn't happen to Kwan. I really hope they don't do the.
He earned a shot, man. They got to give him somebody. You know what I mean? You got to give him another chance for sure.
Yeah. And the last fight, the other kickboxing fight of the night, Mason Usami saying, "Hey, Joe went to a draw." I have no idea how it went to a draw. I thought that Joe clearly won, especially with the knockdown in the first round. Maybe you can convince me otherwise. Knox, or unless
that was a banger. I really like that. That fight was a banger. Usami looked really good in the beginning, man. He looked really, really good. He was doing those crazy jumping knees and everything like that. He was trying interesting stuff. He was throwing with power. He looked sharp. You know what I mean? He definitely won the first round. And then right after that first round, it looked like he got tired. And then he got dropped. And then, yeah, I mean, that third round, it was kind of back and forth, though. So I guess I get it. You know what I mean? He came back from the knockdown and he made it interesting in the end, but that was a banger. They could always run that one back. I would like to see that one run back for sure.
I think it'd be criminal not to run it back. And also, this is a problem with also kickboxing as well. I don't know. Do you watch Rise or any of the other promotions? K1. Well,
Occasionally, I do. Yeah.
I can't say you watch K1 because nobody can watch it. But like Rise or anything else.
Occasionally, I watch Rise. Yeah.
Okay, or even Rise. So Rise used to be one of those promotions that used to have the problem of a lot of draws, and then they started to do the extension rounds for a lot of their fights. They don't do it for all of them, but they do it for when there's a draw and then they have to pick a winner. Uh, Kickboxing judges have this issue where like, oh, I'm not so. It's like, oh my God, it's like, I don't know. I think kickboxing fights should be forced to pick a winner. I don't care. Like, just like, yeah, I didn't. I thought that Joe won this hands down, in my opinion, especially with the knockdown. I know that Mason came back a little bit, but yeah, I had Mason winning. I'm sorry, Joe winning on my scorecard due to aggression, and I think I counted Joe throwing most strikes and doing cage control, but this happens a lot in Rizin. If you look at Rizin's history, there's a lot of fights that get judged to a draw that are kickboxing. I don't think it's ever happened for an MMA fight though.
Yeah, I want to see Joe's leg after the fight. Wasn't he getting pretty beat up with those leg kicks, right?
That's the funny thing is he's still throwing fireman. That's the thing.
Yeah, he stayed in it. He stayed composed too, man. These Korean guys came ready to bang for sure. Yeah, Usami looked good though, man. I really like the fact that he was taking risks. I really like that. I always enjoy when a fighter pushes the pace and takes a risk. You know what I mean?
I'm getting reamed in the comments now. Somebody says Mason was knocked down -1 point and won 2 rounds. So then he should have won. He should have won then if we're going to go.
They give him a 10-8 because the knockdown.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And then Rise will die. No on this planet. Oh, no planet did Joe win that fight. I mean, then Mason should have. So that's the thing is like, no, I'm just like I can't. The idea of a draw, pussy footy fight decision is not the way how I do it. In my opinion, by the knockdown, if you get knocked down, I think you have to do much more to win in a fight. And I don't think that Mason did that much, but I think the draw is inexcusable in my opinion. If you're gonna if give it to Mason, then I'm fine with giving it to Mason if that's how they judge it. But don't say, oh no, both these guys were equal because they were clearly not. If we're
easy
saying,
way to solve it. Run it back, boys. Run it back.
Yeah, run it back, please, for God's sakes. And before we go, Knox, I want to just give you an opportunity. Do you have any fight of the night or finishes of the night that you'd like to give a shout out to for Rizin in Korea?
Oh man, I want to say performance of the night, Satoshi, man, for sure, because just the fact that he just looks, he's just looking phenomenal, man. And I'm glad he's sticking with Rizin. I really like that he's loyal, and like we were saying earlier, he's staying at Bonsai. He's not going to all these fancy fight camps. He's evolving right there at home. Shout out to Crazy Eyes. Crazy Eyes. He's developing Satoshi's striking really well, man. Like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like,
isn't it funny? Sometimes the most mid fighters can sometimes be the best coaches. Just Mike Brown being like one. Okay, that was a mid fighter, but like
he was a champ in WC, but yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But like, it's just funny how that works out, man. Sometimes people who are just not the best fighters just turn out to be the best coaches. They just know, they know what to do and they know what not to do. I think as well. See, like John Jones, I don't think would be. I think Jones would be a horrible coach because he's never had. He doesn't know what it's like. I think he's lost some fights, but he never knows what it's like to lose. So he wouldn't know how to teach you weaknesses, I guess, or his weaknesses. So, yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. You're right. Crazy Eyes, though, he's helping change Bonsai. He really is.
Yeah, for sure, man. The Satoshi's hands look so good. I guess you could say that's like a flash KO sub. You know what I mean? Because the way he dropped him and just pounced on him right away, like, wow. I just want, and Satoshi didn't really take any damage. I would be really, really surprised if he doesn't get a fight for Super Rizin.
Yeah, I still think it should have been against Patricky Part 2, but yeah, we'll see if they add him. If they add
I have a feeling they want to build up Nomura, man. That's, you know what I mean. I have that feeling. He looks like a lightweight Kyoji. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. The cry thing, all that. Well, let's see, man. You know, hopefully, you know, we'll see. You know, hopefully this is not too much for him at one point. At this point. And a favorite fight night. I'm gonna guess you're gonna probably say Mason Joe. That's mine.
I think so. It was a war, man. It was a war. I like the fact that they came back and forth. He stayed composed. Yeah, that was a banger, man. I really enjoyed the hell out of that fight.
Mm.
It's a shame too, though, because Johnny Case looked really good too, man. It's just a shame that he missed a little bit of that weight. I don't think it was an egregious miss, but yeah, he looked
Oh
pretty
yeah,
good, man.
wasn't Gabby Garcia missing 23 pounds or whatever she did for that fight? Supervising war right there. Okay, so this is the last thing I'm going to say about this fight, about the kickbox fight. Outside knockdown, Mason beat the shit out of Joe. You're right. However, I have seen fights in Rise and in K1 where somebody got the shit kicked out of them, and then they still got a knockdown, but they still won based on that. So I'm basing my win also off of previous judging as well. That's all I'll say on the final thing. But what was the best MMA fight night? Oh, that's a good question. What did you say,
Oof.
Knox?
The best MMA fight of the night. Oh man. I really like I like G's composure against Takeda. Just to see a young man like that. How old is he? Like 19?
I think he's the one who's 19. He was the one. Oh yeah, and he was the one who also he said he was gonna. He said after his win he was gonna challenge Kota, but Kota lost.
Yeah.
They're gonna have like the most handsome like fighter thing. The other thing also is that
Or didn't he call Akimoto? I thought. Didn't he call out Akimoto?
Oh, no, he said I was gonna. I thought I think he said that he was gonna call out Kota, but then he was like, okay, you lost, so I don't know who to really call out now. And then I think maybe after he was like, oh, okay, I'll do Akimoto. I think that was him.
Because look at that, man. He's 19 years old, and he fought somebody that has beaten the likes of O'Hara twice. He's fought Yachi, he's fought Carlisle, he's fought Johnny Case, he's fought Gustavo Tofig, Raj Bahali, and he looks so composed. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting
him.
It was Song who said that. It was not. It was Song who was gonna challenge Kota Miura.
Kota?
Not for like the most handsome like fighter award or something. Yeah. So yeah, dude, you're right. He was the one who challenged Akimoto from the beginning.
Yeah. I see Nakamoto didn't really like that. He was like, "Well, you need to slow your roll down or whatever." But I'm like, "Hey, man, I'd be all for it. I would like to see it."
Listen, you got out grappled by Yuki Matoya, 40-year-old Yuki Matoya. I don't. Yeah.
It's one of those things. I think Akimoto looks really sharp standing, but maybe he needs to lift a little bit more. You know what I mean? The physical part of it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. I definitely agree.
I don't want to jump too far forward, but I'm really looking forward to Kimura versus Karamov, man. Yeah, that's a big jump for Kimura, man, but he looked really, really good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This will be the test against a guy who's a great all-rounder. The guy, the Nomura, that Yokoyama, who he fought, was just a grappler, but now he's facing a guy who's good at both. So this will be.
I just pray that it's not one of these ones where they bump him too fast. You know what I mean? Because if he somehow he pulls off the win against Karamov, and they really send him to fight Raj Bahali. Oh my gosh! But can you imagine if he would have pulled those off? But yeah, I hope he doesn't get pushed too far too soon.
As far as I'm concerned, Raj Bahali, Shadulyev, this is Shadulev's world, and we're all living in it. That's how I see
monster.
It.
Scary dude, bro. Scary dude. I don't even think he does even bleed red. I'm not even sure.
I never seen him lose a round. The
I don't even see a scratch on him, dude.
Yeah. He doesn't. He looks like
Yuta got him to the second. Yuta took him to the second. That's about it. It's about as human as he looks so far.
What reminds me of? Remember Musashi would just look like he's just coming in for like a walk. That's the demeanor I see with Shadulyev. Just like it's not even that's no emotion, but I'm so calm and reserved. That's more scarier than like someone who's just like staring blankly at you.
Yeah, just somebody that's happy to fight. He's like happy to be there. Like, I'm so happy. I'm so excited to fight. Most guys are, like Connor says, you're shitting your jokes in the back of the bus. You know what I mean? He's like, I'm happy to be here, man. This brings me great pleasure. Crazy. I love it.
I'll say that my favorite MMA fight actually was honestly Yang Chul Kwan beating shit out of Kota Miura, just because I was not expecting it, and it was just like, oh man, that was just like I popped when that actually happened. I couldn't believe like
He was very
oh
respectful afterwards too. That was
oh
awesome.
yeah, but also just the beating he put on him, man, just like it looked like something out of American History X. It was just like that brutal. So yep, Rizin World Series in Korea. You can watch it on Rizin.tv, and they got 3 of the fights available on their YouTube channel. Before we actually go now, Knox, I want to give you an opportunity if you want to give a shout out. Anything that you're doing, where people can reach you if you want to do that.
Yeah. First off, I want to give a shout out to you, man. I really appreciate you hitting me up and giving me the opportunity to speak to you, brother. It means a lot to me. I appreciate that. I'm very grateful for you for that, man. That means a lot. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody that came in here too to come chop it up with us. If you're looking to reach me, you can find me. I'm more of like a lurker when it comes to social media. You know what I mean? I post occasionally, but I'm more of a lurker. I'm going to start changing that. I'll start posting more again. But the best way to get a hold of me is through Instagram. It's Nox, Nox.
Oh my God,
Talks
I spelled it
MMA.
wrong. I just realized that shit. I realized
You're
that.
good. You're good. You're good, bro. So Nox Talks MMA, all one word. I try to make it as easy as possible. But yeah, reach out to me via that. I have a Twitch and stuff too, but I mostly just mess around and game when I'm fresh out of work. I'm just trying to relax and chill. But I'm always putting fights on in there. I try to get all these gamer nerds into fights, and I put them on Japanese MMA because mostly these cats only know about UFC. You know, they're usually casual bros. They always want to talk about Conor McGregor. Oh, did you hear Conor McGregor's? You know, I'm like, oh my God. Nobody cares, brother. You know what I mean? It's like, let me put you on to the superior rule set. So I spread my message by trying to put people onto the superior rule set because I love the Japanese culture. And I love the way that they just, they put on a show. It doesn't matter, man. You know what I mean? They go out there. They're not trying to take you to decision. You know what I mean? They're trying to finish you. And I love that. You know what I mean? So they put it all out there. But yeah, Nox Talks MMA. Reach out to me there. I have links to my socials in there so you can find my Twitch and everything if you're a gamer, if you're into that. But man, I really appreciate speaking with you, man. It's been a pleasure. Honestly, I'm very, I hope we get to do this again sometimes, man.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'm just gonna quickly do some sign-offs here. I just want to give a shout out to my buddy Jay Christian Gary. Follow him there. He's got his own project, Focus Fights. Follow that stuff right there as well. Linktree/Focus Fights. He and Jay Wolf are doing a preview of Landmark Sapporo. I believe it's tomorrow. So make sure to check him out. And also, they did an interview with Hafid from the Rizin office. Check out that interview they did as well. Speaking of J Wolf, follow him at Twitter X, JYolf1. Please join the Rizin Discord as well, where we have fun talking about Rizin, all types of MMA. We're not just talking about, it's not just, you can talk about UFC, you can talk about Marab if you want, you can talk about O'Malley. There's no banning on, we're not, it's not like a Rizin only. You can talk about any sort of kickboxing as well. If you can somehow watch K1, you're more than welcome to talk about K1 as well. You can even talk about what's the pillow fights as well if you like, or the whip MMA fight thing that I saw like a trailer for or something. Yeah, you can talk about
all about power slap, bro.
Yeah, or power slap as well. God forbid if you actually watch that crap. Of course, before we go, got to give a shout out to the sponsor, eatshroombar.com. Use the code WAR for your first order off your Shroom Bar, 25% off. When you do that, shows you support the podcast, shows that the support that the people who are sponsoring us are not wasting their time. So if you could go ahead and do that for your first order, please do that. Eatshroombar.com. Great protein bars that you can use for your workout, before or after, or for a snack, or if you're just on the go to get something to eat. And once again, thank you everybody who tuned in. Appreciate the support and the interaction. We'll be back for a Landmark preview sometime this week. Not so sure when. Trying to work that out. But we'll definitely be talking soon, everybody. Take care. And again, thank you so much.